What does it take to get from point A to point B? Of course, it depends on what point A and point B are. It depends upon a lot of things. It also depends upon our attitude about them. It depends upon what we expect to get from our arrival. But first, it depends upon what we can even imagine might be possible. Imagination is everything. The human experience tends to value a hard-won benefit. We love stories about those who have overcome tremendous odds with unimaginable effort to achieve exceptional things. We cheer them on. We wish to be able to see ourselves in them. They are our heroes. We have watched them falter, then fly. Do they fly better now because of the falter before? As someone who has faced his own mortality and a number of challenging life struggles, I can assure you that there are indeed flower seeds in the manure. The potential for a vast garden is always there. But it exists as a potential only. For anything to actually grow from it, a choice must be made that a garden shall be the result of this pile of cow crap. Perhaps it doesn't feel to you like the type of thing about which one even has a choice. Maybe in your way of thinking, you look at the future as something about which you are powerless. Do you believe that the future is out of your control? Of course, to a significant degree, it is. But what you get out of it isn't. There are lots of ways to prepare a vegetable. Most of them I'm not a big fan of, to be honest. I'm somewhat notorious for my distaste for most plant matter. But I know there's a difference between a tomato and a bottle of ketchup. Same plant, very different food product. One is nourishment, the other is junk food. Our intentions while going through a difficult experience are what determines the nutritional value of the experience itself. In other words, how we think about what we experience chooses for us, to a certain degree, what the outcome of that experience will be for us. Either we will grow from it, or we won't grow at all and remain mired. Or, in the worst cases, we might even become literally diseased. I've been sick several times in the past, but not every time have I become diseased. It seems the more frightening the health scare, the more at ease I became. Once I even comfortably determined an illness to be a miracle. I didn't know at the time, while I was sick, how that miracle would manifest itself, but I chose to see my illness as a pathway towards something resplendent. All I had to do was maintain my belief and wait patiently for it to unfold as such. I can honestly say that way of thinking has never once let me down. In fact, the majority of my better life accomplishments have occurred since recovering from some of my darkest times. Is there benevolence there? Were my difficulties part of a curriculum of benevolence, experience, and learning from which the best parts of my life would derive themselves? Let's have a thought experiment, and say here that point B, for the purpose of our experiment, is world peace. I know that's a big one. Let's go with it anyway. We are here at point A. World peace is over there at point B. So how do we get there from here? I guess there's a lot of things to be considered. First, we're going to have to get along better. We're going to have to find ourselves in a position where we can trust each other a little more. We're going to have to let our guard down a bit and see things from a different perspective. It will take a lot of work and trial and error. The point is that we have pretty lofty goals for our human species. We have imagined a future for ourselves that we actually can't imagine. A world not at war with itself, collaborating together universally toward the betterment of all people. Have you ever imagined such a thing? No, seriously. Have you ever imagined such a thing? You should. Whether in our lifetime or in the future, can you manage to imagine that world peace is eventually possible? Personally, I not only think it's possible, but the most likely of all possible outcomes. Religiously speaking, I think worldwide peace is what's meant by the biblical metaphor of the kingdom of God on earth. It's a poetic way of describing what we imagine God's experience of love to be, but right here on earth. What would it look like if love was the predominant feature in our dealings with other people, other countries? World peace itself knows what that kind of world will look like. Ask it. I have selected a pretty big goal here in choosing world peace as my example of a point B. Perhaps too big for this discussion, but why not? Why shouldn't we assume that this is where we are all eventually headed, and that the road to this point B is no cakewalk? Does believing in an eventual world peace help us toward it? Does it hinder us? Or have no effect whatsoever? I think believing in it helps us toward it. Because thinking this way, thinking that we are on the road to an eventual and equal peace, no matter how far down the road that may be, tells the tomato whether or not to become a salad or a condiment. The tomato will do what you wish it to do. So will the earth. There just has to be enough of us wishing it. But hold it in mind and heart that we are on a curriculum of benevolence, which is hardly ever easy. But there is love behind it. The most blessed end will not come from an easy pathway, sadly. But it will be okay. Be gracious with yourself and others. We are all going through a lot. And it is for good reasons, loving reasons. Hold tight. Blessed be. Be at ease now, and breathe. Close your eyes if you are willing, and breathe into your hands and arms and shoulders. Feel your breath infusing them with oxygen. Imagine them getting warmer. Contemplate these parts of your body as you breathe into them. Consider the purpose of your hands and arms and shoulders as you inhale and exhale fully. Consider all that they perform, the burdens they carry, and the loved ones they hold. See your arms for their sacredness, and breathe. Consider your hands. How do they feel right now? Are they dry, cold, warm, clammy? Are they sore or painful? Are they strong and capable? What is the nature of your hands? Whom do they look like? How have you cared for them? Consider the times they have struck another person or committed an injustice, if ever. Is there shame here? Let it go. Consider what you might have learned from the times your hands have done these things. What have you learned? Take it into you now with the breath. Think now upon a time in your life when something you first thought to be bad, and perhaps it was, but has since proven to have had hidden blessings. Consider those blessings now. Take them into you with the breath. Do blessings come from tests and trials? Not exclusively, but yes, they do. At what point do we recognize that a good has occurred from something bad? The sooner the better is the answer. Think of your arms again. What have they held, or healed, or built? What have they created? Celebrate them with the breath. Imagine your arms now in a different pose, that of outstretched welcoming. Consider the barriers of defensiveness when seeking embrace. We must first hold ourselves in a position to be open. Give others an example from which to learn. Be open. Choose for yourself to be an instrument of recognition and ease. Make a faithful assumption that these times are meant to bring out and reveal our truest character, both to ourselves as well as others. Feel gratitude for the tests. Picture a dark, swirling chaos above you. Greet it and thank it for its purpose. Look for the humanity within it, for it is there, looking out at your humanity as well. See it for what it is, not for just what it looks like. Honor it. Commune with it. Seek to be in alignment with its greater purpose. Bid it good journey and be at peace. Namaste.